Welcome to this YouTube channel, Hireable Coder, and in this video, I'm going to discuss about the basics of Git and GitHub. So this is going to be a very beginner's video or session on Git and GitHub. So what is Git and GitHub? So basically GitHub, or for that matter many other cloud repositories, are essentially places where we store our source code files. So you can think of them as servers in the cloud where we store the source files. Now there are quite a few, like Microsoft's GitHub is one among them, and then there are also others like GitLab, Bitbucket, and most of the cloud providers like AWS and Azure also have their own code repositories. Like Azure has Azure repos and AWS has AWS code commit. Now what we normally do is whenever we are working in a professional project, we always want to store the code in this cloud code repositories, in this cloud code servers, because maybe our laptop can crash or the desktop can crash, the local system, we can lose the local system. But then if we store them in the cloud in this code repositories, then they will always be there. Apart from that, they also provide a lot of other utilities. And in this video, I'm going to show you like some of the basic things that all developers we need to know about Git and GitHub. So welcome to this session, and before I start, again I would like to make a request. If you have not subscribed to my channel yet, and if you like my sessions, please go ahead and subscribe to my channel, like this video, and also view my other videos. So what are the steps to create a GitHub repo? First is we have to create an account in the cloud server. Then we have to create a repository in the account. So basically one repository is normally dedicated to a specific product. Maybe you can think of a company having a GitHub account, and then that company can have multiple products where every single product resides in one repository. And then for every single local developer, they will have to install the Git client in local, and then clone the local, and then clone the repository in local, make changes locally, and then push again to the repo. So once it is there in the repo, then all the developers can actually use that. So I will now show a demo of how you can actually do that in real life. So this is github.com. First what you have to do is you have to create a username. You have to basically register in github.com, and then once you register, then you can create some repository. Like I have created a few repositories. So if you go here, you can see the new button, and if you click new, then you can create a new repository. So you can just give any name to the repository, maybe it's a test repo, and you can make it public. You can add a readme file, and you can also add a git ignore file, and then if you click here, then the repository will be created. But this repository is created in the cloud server. It is not yet in my local system. I need to bring it to my local system. In order to bring it to my local system, I need to install a local client to be able to retrieve that. So let me go there. So please go to this URL, git-scm.com/download, and from here, depending on your operating system, if it is Windows, then click here and install the 64-bit or the 32-bit Windows setup so that the Git client is installed. Similarly, if you have Mac or other Linux OS, the installation instructions are there. For Mac, we can simply do brew install git, and for Linux, depending on the Linux version, you can install it. So that will install the Git client and will also put the Git client in the path. Now with that Git client, we can actually interact with that cloud, with that repository that we created in the cloud. We can bring it to our local, we can make some local change, and then we can push it to the cloud. So let's see how we can do that. Okay, so now I already have Git client installed locally. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a git clone -- branch, which is the branch name, and the branch name is main here. And then I will have to give the GitHub repo, which is this one, this URL. So git clone, I'm cloning this specific branch, which is the main branch. So it creates the directory corresponding to the repo, and you can go and see there that this readme is created. maybe I create just a Java file here, sorry, a JavaScript file here, which is, say for example, test1.js, and I can write a sample line here, maybe console log test JavaScript file, and now I want to push this change, which is this new JavaScript file, to the repo. So this change is not yet in the repo. You can see that it has not gone there, of course, because that is there only locally. So how do I push this change? Any change if I want to push, what I want to do is I want to do git add dot, which adds, and also if there is any modification, adds them to the local repo. And then if I do a git status, it shows that I have a new file which is ready to be pushed. Now I first need to commit the file using the command git commit, then just need to give a commit message. Maybe I can just write something like initial commit, and then I have to push this. So when I try to push this, it should actually ask for the user ID password for the GitHub account. It is my user ID and the okay, now the change has gone to the server, to the cloud server, and I can see the change here. See the test1.js. What I can also do, I can create a different branch from this branch. Maybe I want to make change to a new branch and I do not want to make change to the main branch. Often it happens that the main branch is dedicated to the main version of the product, and if there are other versions of the product or for bug fixing, we create branches. So now I will create a branch, maybe name branch 1. So create branch 1 from main. So basically what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to create a branch 1 by taking a copy of the main branch, and then I can bring in the branch 1 and make change to the branch 1 but not to main. So at this moment this is up to date with main because I created branch 1 by copying main. See, it is also written here that only 2 branches are there. Now I can get that branch as well by doing a git fetch. Git fetch will actually bring in all new branches. So if I do a git checkout branch number, then it should check out the new branch. And then if I do a git branch, it will show me all the branches. What it shows is this particular repository had 2 branches, main and branch 1. And currently branch 1 is the live branch on local, which means currently the local is pointing to branch 1. So if I now make a change in local and then push the change, then the change would go to branch 1 but would not go to main. So let's see that. So let's make a small change in this JS file. Like a small change, whatever. And so I will again do a git add dot, git commit, small change. This is a commit message, it can be anything. And then again I pushed the change. Now let us see where the push has gone. This is branch 1. If I try to see the content of branch 1, see this change is there in branch 1. But if I go back to main, see that change is not in main. So that is what, like any particular repo, the name of the repo is test-repo. Any particular repo can have thousands of branches, and every single branch will have its own share of files. It does not need to be a copy of main, or it does not need to be a copy of any other branch as such. Thing which I kind of missed to mention, you might have seen that while I was trying to push my change, it was asking for a password. Now, in recent years in Git, you can no longer use the same password which you use to create your Git account. You need to use either a personal token or a SSH key. So I will show you how to create a personal token. From here, you need to go to your account, to settings basically, and then from there to developer settings. And from here, you need to go to personal access token and then fine grained token. Like, see, I have a test token created and I had copied that token in my local. So you can also generate a new token. From here, you need to do this and just give a name like test token 2 maybe, and with some expiry, maybe 90 days. And then the important thing here is give it access to all repositories, and then the repository permission here for administration. See, repository creation, deletion, settings. So here you need to give read and write access, and then just go ahead and create the token. So then with this token, you should be able to make change to the repository, create branch, etc. But if you need more permissions, then there are also other attributes which you need to give proper privilege, proper permission, so that you are able to actually do those kind of things. But just to actually be able to clone a branch, make change, and again push the change to the cloud server, it is sufficient if you just give read and write access to administration. So now if you generate the token, it should show you the token, and it will only be shown to you once. So please copy it from here and keep it pasted in your notepad or wherever from where you can use it. Okay, so that's it. I hope the session was useful. You were able to get a basic understanding of GitHub and how you can clone a branch, how you can add the local changes and then commit the local changes with a message, and then finally do a git push and also create your packed token so that you can push with that password. And last but not the least, if you think that this session was useful, please go ahead and subscribe to my channel and also view the other videos and share with your friends, so that I would also feel motivated to produce further quality videos. Thank you very much.